when are you finally going to get a divorce from Dad? I'm really getting sick and tired of you always being at the house doing nothing but chores all the time, so let's go.
Huh? Sarah, what do you mean by that?
I'm asking you to divorce him because I don't want you here in this house anymore.
It's clear you have a strong dislike for me, but if you had objections, you should have expressed them before the marriage. Why bring it up now? I've been together with your dad for years now, so it's really not the best time to be asking something like that now.
The only reason I never complained about you back then was because ever since my real mom left, I've been the one responsible for all the household chores. The situation wasn't ideal, but it was manageable. When Dad told me he wanted to marry someone and brought you home, I thought to myself, finally, I might be free from these endless chores. I was thrilled at the prospect of having some relief and even approved of your marriage to him. But once we actually began living together, the reality was far different from my expectations. I was freed from doing housework, but having to live with someone who I felt was an annoying old woman was more distressing.
Annoying old woman, huh?
And let's not forget, just 6 months after the wedding, Dad had that accident and ended up hospitalized, didn't he? Being stuck living alone with a strange aunt has been excruciating. It feels like a punishment, if I'm being honest.
A strange aunt?
It feels so good to finally voice my true feelings. I have had those pent up for so long now that I had no clue what I was going to do if I didn't get them off my chest.
I'm happy to hear that you're feeling better now, but if I leave, won't you have to handle the housework again?
From now on, I plan to arrange for professional cleaning services, and I'll invest in time-saving kitchen gadgets and cleaning equipment. This way I can minimize my own work and ensure everything runs smoothly. Of course, I'll also be asking that my dad doesn't make as much of a mess when he's back home.
Sarah, are you thinking about the expenses involved? Not only will all those fancy gadgets you're talking about cost a lot, but getting a cleaning service or even a maid to come over and clean, that's way too much money.
I know that, and of course I've been thinking about the cost. Dad's income seems to have increased since marrying you, so with that extra money, we can take care of all the required needs.
Huh?
Since you married Dad, his standard of living has improved, hasn't it? This means his salary must have risen, making it easier for him to support a full-time housewife like you. If you were to leave, there would be a reduction in household expenses, which would provide me with a chance to enjoy a more comfortable lifestyle with the saved money.
Excuse me, can we talk about something?
What else do you want to talk about?
I'm not a full-time housewife.
Huh? But you're always at home. Didn't you quit your job when you married Dad and told me that you'd be home a lot more often than before?
Yes, I did leave my corporate job, but...
See? You're not working.
Earning money isn't just about having a job at a company.
Huh?
Currently, I work remotely, which means that I'm pretty much able to work from home all the time.
Huh? Isn't that just doing a bit of work on the side while you handle household chores? Isn't that called piecework?
It might seem that way, but I also have passive income streams.
What's that? Even if you use fancy terminology, it still looks like piecework to me. Like you've got some kind of a small side gig or something.
Sarah, you're about to graduate from high school and have plans to go to junior college. You should start acquiring the knowledge that will be useful when you enter the workforce.
Huh? I don't understand what you're talking about. Anyway, I need my allowance.
I just gave it to you last week.
It's not enough.
No, it's not happening. If you want that money, then maybe start doing some chores as well, and I'll pay you for your hard work.
You are so stingy. My last mom was never like this.
Sarah, sorry for interrupting you, but there's something I'd like to ask you about.
What's that?
Do you know what happened to my wristwatch?
What?
It's the silver one that I've always got on when I'm going out.
I don't know where it is. Actually, I never care about what kinds of things you have on anyway, so I don't know.
I see. Well, it's the one I got from your dad. He gave it to me instead of an engagement ring to show that I promised him my love.
What? So you never got an engagement ring?
He told me that a wristwatch is something one can get a lot more use out of, so that's what we went with.
Oh.
I just wanted to ask you about this in case you had any memory of what happened to it.
Well, I still don't know.
I see. All right, then.
Hey, Mia? You returned to your family home after my high school graduation ceremony yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, that's right. I'm currently staying at my family home.
As I mentioned before, I came back because there is something important to announce. Dad's discharge date from the hospital's been set.
I'm aware of that. I received a notification about it, too.
So, regarding what we discussed the other day, could you please act on it soon?
What exactly are you referring to?
I mean, how long do you plan on staying at Dad's house? It's time for you to stop leeching off of him.
Who is leeching off of whom?
It's obviously you.
I'm not leeching. I have been working and contributing my share to the household expenses.
Well, I anticipated you might say that, so I've taken the liberty of throwing out all your belongings.
What?
I thought that might be the only way to get you to leave. Get out now! You need to divorce Dad immediately!
Oh, is that how you want to handle it? If that's the case, then you'll need to manage your dad's hospitalization costs yourself.
What are you talking about? You're acting like you're the one covering Dad's medical expenses.
Since you seem to be so concerned, why don't you take care of your dad's discharge arrangements? It might be best if you hear directly from him about his current situation and what needs to be done.
Huh? Maya!
What's going on?
Is it true that you and Dad have officially divorced? And did you really move into a high-rise apartment worth $10,000 a month? Is it also true that you covered all of Dad's hospital bills by yourself? And is it true that Dad has resigned from his job and is now unemployed?
It's quite unbelievable, but yes, everything you've heard is true.
Seriously?
To clarify everything, it might be helpful to organize your questions in chronological order.
Chronological order?
Let's start with your dad's accident. Since it was a self-inflicted accident, insurance coverage was not an option.
So you ended up covering the entire expense yourself?
Yes, that's correct. The accident involved a company car that had to be written off, so he was given the choice of either resigning or paying for the car. He opted to resign.
So it's essentially like being fired?
Yes, it's almost the same. Although your dad did receive some severance pay, it was significantly less than what he would have received if it had been a company-initiated dismissal.
I see.
Initially, my own income was sufficient to manage both the living expenses and hospital bills. Given the expletive nature of the company, I considered it a sort of unexpected blessing. But then the real issues began.
Issues?
Yes, the major problem with your dad's accident was that it occurred while he was on way to meet his mistress.
An affair? Dad had an affair?
Yes, I found this out when I visited Yoshiro-san's hospital room at an unusual time and discovered him with his mistress.
What?
After revealing the affair, further investigation showed that it had been ongoing since before our marriage. It appears he was interested in my family's wealth.
Huh? So your family is actually wealthy?
Yes, that's correct. You can think of it that way. After discovering the affair, I had to quickly manage the divorce proceedings and compensation claims. Following that, I moved back to the high-rise apartment that I owned before marriage.
Oh, the $10,000 high-rise?
Yes, this apartment was inherited from my late father. It was valued at 100 million yen when it was first purchased, but its current value is likely diminished.
But the high-rise...
Let's not dwell on the high-rise details and focus on the core issues. Because of the divorce, I won't be charging you for the hospital expenses I covered during our marriage. However, any remaining unpaid amounts will need to be settled by you.
But I'm unemployed.
And don't forget about the compensation money.
Oh, right.
By the way, the mistress has already paid her share, but your dad still hasn't paid his portion. I have a feeling that Dad's expenses have accumulated to an enormous amount. I'm concerned that his severance pay might not cover everything. How he manages his finances is not my concern, so you should discuss this matter directly with your dad. And Sarah, you too.
What about me?
Regarding the matter of you taking and selling various items of mine without permission?
Huh? You knew?
Of course. With only you and me in the house, I immediately suspected you. To gather concrete evidence, I installed hidden cameras in my room.
Cameras?
Yes, I have detailed records of what you took from my room, and I've also tracked the app accounts you used to sell those items.
That too?
You mentioned discarding my belongings, but it turns out you sold what you could, didn't you? The total damage, based on what I know, amounts to just over 5,000. I will make sure to claim that amount.
No way.
And what about the private school tuition for you?
Huh?
I was the one who paid for the entrance fee and tuition as a gesture of goodwill.
So you're the one who covered the entrance fee?
But when it comes to college, I won't be handling any future tuition costs, so you'll need to figure that out on your own.
Really? Dad doesn't seem reliable, so what should I do?
Well then, I think we're done here. From now on, please handle everything through a lawyer. Goodbye. Sarah's decision to take a leave of absence from junior college was a critical juncture in her life. Opting to step away from her studies temporarily, she embarked on a new chapter marked by independence and self-sufficiency. She moved into her own apartment and began working part-time to support herself. At first glance, this shift seemed like a positive transformation. On the surface, it appeared as though Sarah was making significant strides towards personal growth and responsibility. This new chapter promised a fresh start, free from the constraints and conflicts that had previously defined her life. However, reality often complicates seemingly straightforward transitions. Despite her best efforts, Sarah struggled with maintaining stability in her new life. Her part-time jobs were short-lived, and she was either dismissed from her positions or chose to leave them voluntarily. This pattern of frequent job changes was concerning. It seemed that Sarah was unable to find a job that suited her long-term, or perhaps she was struggling to meet the expectations and demands of her employers. This instability suggested deeper issues, whether they were related to her approach to work, her adaptability in different workplace environments, or other personal challenges she was facing. Meanwhile, my ex-husband was grappling with his own set of difficulties. Despite the urgent need to find employment and resolve the financial obligations we had discussed, he showed no significant signs of actively seeking work. His inaction and reluctance to address those financial responsibilities were sources of ongoing frustration. The financial disputes and unpaid amounts that I had requested from both him and Sarah remained unresolved, adding to the complexity and strain of the situation. The situation took a dramatic turn when Sarah's relatives intervened. Their involvement marked a significant shift in the narrative. One day, a black-painted van appeared at both Sarah's and my ex-husband's residences. The sight of those vans, coupled with their authoritative presence, suggested that serious action was being taken. The intervention was both dramatic and necessary, signaling a crucial turning point in the ongoing issues. Inside those vans were individuals tasked with collecting and transporting Sarah and my ex-husband away from their homes. The process was marked by visible distress and emotional upheaval. The intervention by Sarah's relatives aimed to address the unresolved financial issues and bring some degree of resolution to the prolonged disputes. The appearance of the black vans and the subsequent actions taken were necessary steps towards resolving the complex and ongoing problems that had affected all parties involved. Following the intervention, there was a noticeable shift in the financial situation. From the following month, payments began to be made in installments. This development was a significant improvement and indicated that progress was being made in addressing the outstanding financial obligations. Although the payments were being made in small amounts, the fact that they were occurring at all was a positive sign that Sarah and my ex-husband were now facing some level of accountability for their financial responsibilities. This change marked a crucial step toward resolving the long-standing issues that had plagued our lives. Despite these positive changes, I chose to focus on my own life and well-being. The period of dealing with financial disputes and personal upheavals had been incredibly taxing and stressful. Now that the issues were being addressed and some level of resolution was being achieved, I felt it was time to fully embrace the freedom of my single life. This newfound independence allowed me to enjoy a sense of peace and relaxation that had been elusive during the tumultuous period of dealing with these disputes. As I looked forward, I decided to focus on what truly mattered to me. The freedom from the past disputes and the opportunity to start anew provided a sense of rejuvenation. I was ready to move on from the challenges of the previous months and to embrace a future that promised greater stability and satisfaction. The experiences I had gone through provided valuable insights into responsibility, accountability, and the impact of personal actions on one's life. Reflecting on Sarah's situation, it was clear she had faced significant challenges. Her struggles with employment and the ongoing financial issues with my ex-husband highlighted the complexities of navigating personal and financial difficulties. However, the involvement of her relatives and the subsequent actions to address the outstanding payments were steps in the right direction. These changes suggested that Sarah was being held accountable for her responsibilities, and the support from her relatives played a crucial role in resolving the issues. It was evident that Sarah's journey was still ongoing. Despite the intervention and the progress in settling financial obligations, the path to stability was not straightforward. Her ongoing challenges with employment and her personal circumstances indicated that she had much to navigate before achieving the stability she sought. The support from her relatives was a crucial factor in helping her address these challenges, but the journey ahead remained complex. For me, the resolution of these disputes allowed for a sense of closure. The financial obligations that had been a source of stress and frustration were gradually being addressed. The payments made by Sarah and my ex-husband, though initially delayed, indicated that they were now facing the consequences of their actions and working to rectify the situation. This development provided a measure of relief and marked a turning point in the resolution of the issues. The involvement of Sarah's relatives and the subsequent actions they took were instrumental in bringing about these changes. Their intervention was a necessary step in resolving the financial disputes, ensuring that accountability was restored. The black-painted vans and the dramatic nature of the intervention highlighted the seriousness and the need for decisive action. As I moved forward, I was determined to embrace the freedom and independence that came with being single. The experiences of the past had shaped my approach to life and provided valuable lessons. I looked forward to a future where I could focus on my own goals and aspirations, free from the burdens of past disputes. The resolution of the financial issues allowed me to fully appreciate the sense of closure and to look ahead with renewed hope and optimism. The entire experience had been a journey of growth and self-discovery. It had taught me the importance of responsibility, accountability, and the impact of personal actions on one's life. While the resolution of the disputes provided a sense of closure, it also marked the beginning of a new chapter. I was ready to step into this new chapter with a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to embracing the opportunities and challenges that lay ahead. In conclusion, Sarah's journey and the resolution of the financial disputes were significant milestones in the narrative of our lives. The intervention by her relatives and the subsequent progress in settling financial obligations marked important steps towards addressing the issues that had affected us. The experiences of the past provided valuable lessons and insights, shaping my approach to life and reinforcing the importance of responsibility and accountability. As I looked toward the future, I was ready to embrace the opportunities and challenges that lay ahead with a renewed sense of purpose and optimism.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Oh, this is unbelievable! If I'd known this was going to happen, I wouldn't have hesitated any longer than I already have. I should have kept trying to reach out no matter what, even if it meant making things worse with my husband and all. Huh? Excuse me, but who is this? Oak, really now? Even if we've only met once, why are you asking who I am? I get that it's been years now since then, but I'm the one person you should be able to remember the most. No, I truly don't remember. At the very least, I don't think we've exchanged phone numbers or anything, have we? Because you're not showing up in my contacts anywhere, and there is no text or ID. Where'd you even get my number from? It was on my son's phone, your husband's phone, that is, and I made sure to get it off there so I could finally get in touch with you again. Huh? Wait, are you trying to say that you're my mother-in-law? That doesn't make any sense. That's exactly what I'm trying to say here. Well, I don't think that's true. My mother-in-law's phone number has been saved in my contacts for a while now. And to be honest with you, she never once texted me before and said it herself that she's more of a caller than a texter. Oh, really? Well, in that case, you shouldn't have played dumb and asked who I am if you already know me. Wait, what? I mean, you clearly know who I am since you already have my contact information in your phone, right? No, that's not at all what I just said about you, though. The person saved under mother-in-law in my phone, they aren't you. And my mother-in-law wouldn't even be texting me right now, even if she did do that.
What? Are you trying to tell me that I'm not your mother-in-law at all or something?
Yes, actually. You're not my mother-in-law, and I'm not really sure who you could be. So how about you go and check your son's phone one more time and make sure you didn't type that number into your phone wrong?
What kind of nonsense are you spouting? You're just trying to escape the blame for your crime, aren't you? Well, I'm not letting that happen, and I will make sure that you are held responsible for it.
Huh? What crime?
My son found out about your affair and left the house to go and try to investigate, and then he got hit by a car. All he wanted to do was get the evidence, but before he could move out of the way, he was knocked out completely.
Wait, what? What are you talking about? I've never even heard about any of that going on.
You're the one who ran him over, didn't you? You wanted to silence him, didn't you? All because you are too egotistical and can't stand having other people know about your faults. But I won't let you get away with this. I will never forgive you for this, ever.
Let me ask you this one more time. Who exactly are you? Because honest to God, I have no clue who you are or what you want with me.
I told you already that I'm your husband's mother, your mother-in-law. And what I want from you is to confess your crimes and then make up for them so that my son doesn't have to go through this pain anymore.
Okay, you need to listen very carefully to me. I am currently traveling with my actual mother-in-law right now. She's right beside me in our hotel room, and we are getting ready to leave and go outside. So, again, who are you?
What? What do you mean you're with your mother-in-law traveling right now?
My mother-in-law has chronic back pain, so we're staying at a spa resort for an extended trip to help her recover for a little while before her next fit of pain.
What? I'm your mother-in-law, though. What's all this nonsense about me being at a spa resort with you and having chronic back pain? Stop making up some ridiculous old lady scenario about me. I'm just getting into my 60s.
It's not made up, though. Also, if your son has been in an accident, shouldn't you focus on that instead of accusing me? If there's any foul play involved, the police will investigate, and if I were really involved, that would come to light during the investigation. I think it's best if you stop making strange accusations about people you've never met before and stop getting confused about everyone around you.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Trying to run away, are you?
There's no reason for me to run because I haven't done anything. Now, just to be clear with you one last time, you are not my mother-in-law. That much is certain. So please, please go and take one more look in your son's phone and make sure you don't have the wrong contact or phone number.
You're still insisting on that? I might call the police on you right now if you're going to continue behaving like that.
Goodbye.
Oak, lend me some money, all right?
Huh? Is this you, Candace? It's been years since you've reached out, and now you're asking for money? What about that wonderful high-earning husband of yours? You know, the one that you constantly were asking me about for some reason? Saying that you're the one who deserved a man like that? You went and seduced Mark, my former boyfriend, using your pregnancy as leverage to force a marriage, which at the time was completely insane of you, but now that I think back on all that happening there, it was totally wrong.
Ah, that wasn't exactly how it happened, but you seem to remember a lot about me, actually. Besides, at that point, you hadn't even given your answer to the marriage proposal yet, so technically it was fair game. Fair, because if you weren't going to be getting married to him in the future, that meant to me that he needed a new woman, and one who could actually love him.
Sure, I guess you could argue it was technically fair, but do you remember how you embarrassed Aunt May, who had been the one to introduce Mark to me? She spent so much time going out looking for someone perfect, all just to have the man she had finally been able to find ripped away from her and I by you. Or how disappointed Dad and Mom were with you after that whole mess. How they both told you to get out of the house and never come back to them because they couldn't even look at your face. And if I recall correctly, you didn't end up being pregnant after all, did you? You just lied about that in order to get Mark to believe that he had to become your husband then, making it all a lot easier on you.
Ugh, that is ancient history. Besides, you went on to marry someone else from some other dating app, so what's the big deal? Anyway, what I have going on with myself right now is more urgent. The money.
I have no intention of lending you money, but what happened? If you let me know why you need money so badly right now, I may be able to help you in other ways.
Well, you see, I accidentally ran over Mark with my car.
You what?
I put the car in the wrong gear and it shot forward instead of backward. And that led me to pretty much end up hitting him by mistake. Luckily, I didn't kill him at the time, but he didn't get up when I called out to him.
You are kidding, right?
He's going to be okay, no life-threatening injuries, but it's going to take him about 3 months to recover. But I couldn't just sit around waiting for the ambulance to come and get him, so I actually reversed out of there and took off to lay low for a bit.
So, let me get this straight. You want me to cover Mark's hospital bills that you ended up causing him and the car repairs? All because you're too afraid to take responsibility for your own actions?
Well, yes, that's part of it, but it's also because my affair was exposed at the worst possible time.
Excuse me?
My boyfriend, Mark, caught me in the act of having sex with him, and we were actually doing it together in the car. When I saw him watching the two of us in the car, I panicked and tried to drive away, but I accidentally hit him because I switched the gears the wrong way. And like I was saying, when I had to look out my window and yelled for Mark to get up, he didn't. There was a bunch of blood that also started to come out of him, and I just freaked out and told my boyfriend to call the ambulance, and then we took off.
What on earth were you thinking?
I know. So now, on top of everything, Mark is suing me for damages to him and for having that affair with another man. I already tried to fight the case, saying it was all an accident and that he doesn't have any evidence of me having that affair. But the judge and all of the jury wouldn't listen to me.
So you're looking at a payout of hundreds of thousands of dollars, right?
You must realize there's no way I have that kind of money, right? I don't have anything saved up, and Mark was my source of income, really.
Didn't you quit your job to become a full-time housewife because you thought marrying high-earning Mark would make you set for life or something?
Yes, I did. And so what? Is that a crime?
Whether it's a crime or not, you're definitely reaping the consequences of your own actions now, don't you think? I don't even get why you would have that affair in the first place when you had gone through all the trouble of stealing him from me years ago.
I suppose I was just fed up with some things in our relationship that made me start looking for someone else to please me.
I see. By the way, sorry to change the subject, but there's something I want to ask you.
What now?
What's your mother-in-law's name?
Huh? My mother-in-law's name?
You remember, don't you? When Mark and I got engaged to one another, barely a month passed before his parents got into a huge mess and ended up divorcing. I never really had a chance to ask for his mom's full name because of all that chaos and because she was kicked out of the house and moved away before I could talk to her again. But since you married Mark, I figure you would at least know your mother-in-law's name, right?
I haven't really spoken to her much, but I think her name is Janice?
Thanks, Candace. That's all I needed to know. Goodbye now.
Wait, hold on a second. Are you going to help me out with my money situation or not?
Oak, I am officially demanding $50,000 from you as compensation.
What? Is this you again?
Yes. I've decided to take matters into my own hands and avenge my son's suffering. He deserves justice, and I'm going to get it for him. So make sure you have that money to me by next week, or I will be calling the police on you.
Suffering? Fine, whatever. Actually, it's good you started to text me. I was about to reach out to you anyway so that we could settle all of this.
Wait, what?
Can you meet me this Saturday at 9 a.m. at the parking lot in front of the west side of Central Park in City A? Let's settle this whole dispute there with one another in person.
Oh, that's sudden. But you're being strangely cooperative, aren't you?
I figured it would be more convenient for you this way, right? After all, it is you who needs the money the most and not me.
Well, yes, that does sound easier for me. And you're right that I need the money. I guess this means you're finally showing some remorse for what you did to my son. If that's the case, I won't press you too hard about everything, and I'll hold off on calling the police on you for now.
So, 9 a.m. on Saturday then?
Fine, I'll be there. But remember, I'm expecting you to make things right between all of us after what you did. And if you're truly reflecting on your actions, I won't push for a harsher penalty. Just don't forget that I'm not going to let this go easily.
Right. See you then. Candace, this is about Saturday. Are you going to be free around 10 a.m. to leave your house and come see me?
What do you want? Did you get that $50,000 I asked for ready?
I want you to come out to East Park and City B around that time, all right? Meet me in the parking lot there and we can talk some things over together.
What?
You'll be able to come, right?
And that's you saying you're going to be giving me that $50,000 I need?
Are you coming or are you not coming?
I'll be going. I will definitely be going to see you. I need that money badly, so I really have no other choice.
Then make sure to get there on time for me, please. I don't want to have to wait all day for you out there.
I'll finally be able to end all of this without having to get into loads of debt. Thank God.
Oak? What is this? What's with the blacked-out van that just pulled up here?
Ah, hello, Janice. You're right on time. How punctual and very impressive.
What do you mean impressive? What are you planning to do to me?
The people who've come to pick you up are not bad folks, so you really don't need to worry.
How on earth am I supposed to feel reassured by you saying that right now? I only came here because you said you'd give me the $50,000 that I'd been asking you for before.
But I never once said I was going to give you $50,000, right?
What? But I said that I needed all of that money from you.
Yes, and because of that, I've introduced you to a job opportunity.
A job opportunity?
The van that's here to pick you up belongs to Rogers Construction Company. It's one of their work vehicles that pulled up to meet with you, so no need to worry.
What? What exactly do you think you're trying to make me, your husband's mother of all people? I demanded $50,000 from you to avenge my son's suffering, and now you're telling me to work? How does any of that even make sense?
Isn't it because after your divorce you used up the alimony and your ex-husband's personal savings and now you owe him $50,000 and that's why you're asking me for it?
What?
Also, let's be clear about one thing here. Your son is very much alive and well, isn't he?
What does that have to do with this?
Ugh. Let me say this again. I am not your son's wife.
Oh, there you go with that nonsense again. How many times do we have to go back to square one? You were the one who was introduced to my son a while back in the arranged marriage meeting.
Yes, that part is true.
And I heard you got married to him in less than 6 months after that meeting.
Well, in those less than 6 months, his marriage partner changed and I was no longer with him anymore.
What?
Let me get straight to the point. Your son's wife, Mark's wife, is my older sister, Candace.
Your older sister?
Now, Janice, I have heard a bit about your situation. It seems that shortly after I started going out with your son, you got divorced from your husband. Because of that, you weren't informed about the results of what happened with him and I, were you?
Yes, that's probably true.
That's why you mistakenly assumed I was your son's wife. But after your divorce, I understand you met with Mark a few more times to have lunches and dinners together, right?
Yes, we did meet a couple times after that.
Well, since Mark and I exchanged phone numbers during our short time with one another, I assume you must have secretly taken my contact details around that time?
If I'd only known the name of the actual woman he'd be getting married to, none of this would have happened.
Right, but I imagine Mark didn't exactly want to tell you the truth, did he? It must have been hard to explain that he ended up marrying the woman he had been dating for a little bit's sister. That's an awkward situation to explain, and I know I'd be afraid to talk about it as well.
So, that's how all of this...
Well, I think we're done here now, right?
What?
By now, you're probably already on your way to the van that Rogers Construction brought for you, right? They've instructed me not to stay in contact after we've finished our conversation, since they'll be taking you out into the middle of nowhere and there won't be any cell service for you there.
Wait, hold on a minute!
Look, I was dragged into this misunderstanding due to a lack of information, but this is where our connection ends. Best of luck to you, and I hope you can make all of that money back to pay your ex-husband with.
Wait! Oh, don't leave me like this!
Good luck with your new job at Rogers Construction. Take care.
Wait! Oak, I've been shoved into some blacked out van and none of these guys are giving me any answers. What's going on?
Yeah, that would be Rogers Construction. You've heard of them, right?
Wait, what? No! You've got to be kidding me. Isn't that...
Yep. It's where Aunt May's been working for the past few decades now.
I know that, but that's not the point. That place is notorious for being what people call a rehabilitation facility for wayward people. It's a nightmare at these kinds of companies.
Well, sure, they're known for shaping up some rough types. But from my perspective, it's a good, reputable construction company with excellent employee training. A totally above and beyond style of operation.
Why do I have to go and work for Rogers Construction, though? This could have all been settled if you'd just given me the $50,000 I was asking you for earlier.
I never once said that I was giving you $50,000, though.
What? You knew I needed to come up with $50,000, so you're telling me this was your solution? Just throwing me into a job somewhere?
Pretty much. And that's why I had you come out to that parking lot today.
So that's what this is all about? I thought you were going to pay me.
Good luck with the job, and try your best not to piss off any of your bosses.
Oak! Give me that $50,000 right now!
At 9 a.m., Janice was picked up by the company van, and an hour later, my sister Candace was also collected by them. Although they're technically mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, they never once saw each other before heading off on separate journeys to their respective assignments, and will most likely never see one another ever again. Now, under the strict but caring guidance of their passionate senior colleagues, both Janice and Candace are reportedly spending their days utterly exhausted, battling muscle soreness and near tears as they work hard. It's tough, to say the least, but they're getting through it in order to change their ways and make that money they both need to pay other people off. As for Mark, who's still recovering in the hospital, it seems he's had time to reflect on a few things a bit when it comes to his mother and his wife. Word is, after his recovery, he plans to join Rogers Construction voluntarily as well, in order to humble himself and understand better the people like his mother and wife. So as you can see, although I was unexpectedly dragged into this situation, it's finally settled down and I didn't have to end up paying a single person the $50,000 they begged me for. Now, as for what's been going on with myself after all the drama concluded, I am taking a well-deserved break, enjoying a parfait with my real mother-in-law and relaxing after all the chaos.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.